In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can better track your digital marketing campaigns. Okay, so I've been in the space around 10 years now, and this is still a massive flaw that I see with most businesses where they're just not tracking their digital marketing campaigns as well as they could be. And that leads to all sorts of problems. Okay, so when it comes to like poor data collection and tracking, you ultimately can't truly understand what's working and what's not. So you can reallocate budget, make those really important decisions when it comes to where your marketing spend's going on. Not being able to make those small percentage increases over time. So with any marketing campaign, it's not just about throwing more money at it, it's about how can you improve, how can you get more for your returns, and without good tracking and data, you're not going to be able to do that. It's harder to see, again, this really does just tie into what I was just saying, but it's harder to see the ROI of specific channels or campaigns, okay? And again, on a more granular level, like different keywords, ads, content, and things like that. So without that data, you can't improve. It's harder to make informed decisions on how to grow further as a business, okay? Or a marketing department. This is just so important, okay? You need good tracking and data collection. So in this video, I'm going to go through 4 different solutions that we use to basically help our clients track better and just get valuable data for their business, okay? So what I'm not going to be doing in today's video is showing you how to set up revenue tracking in like a Google ad account. This is more of like an overarching video, just talking about various different solutions that are out there. This is just very simple tracking, and I'm not just talking about this today. We're going to really be thinking outside the box here. Just really quickly, just a shameless Google ad case study plug here, but this is a brand that we spent £124,000 on ads and generated 2.7 million in sales. As you can see this bottom line here, getting a 21.68 return on ad spend. But enough of that. Let's crack on with the actual reason for today's video. And the first thing I just want to say is, as far as I'm aware, there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to tracking. It really depends on your business model, on your buying cycles, and what platforms and stuff that you're using, okay? So as a consultancy and agency, so we mainly specialize in Google Ads and SEO. We use a range of different platforms to help our campaigns, but also, reporting and giving the KPIs and the main things to clients that, they want to know about when it comes to the success of the campaigns and stuff. So there's your third-party analytic tools, so Google Analytics, which I'm going to cover a bit today. You've got ad platform data, so Meta ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, Bing ads. You've got different SEO and ad tools that you can use. So again, this is something that we use more in-house to help us rather than sharing them with the client, but it's still really useful for making improvements. And some clients do care about these things as well when it comes to, SEO rankings and stuff. You've got your website platform data or CMS data. So this is your, your WordPress, your Shopify, your Squarespace. Those can be quite useful to look at as well, especially Shopify. CRM data, again, we're going to cover this quite a lot today. So your HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, maybe even a manual spreadsheet. I'm not sure what you guys are using out there, but yeah, basically your CRM data, which is super, super important. And then lastly, spreadsheet and manual data collection, which we're going to cover. So I'll be honest, it's not always pretty when it comes to tracking and just tracking digital marketing campaigns. We've had clients in the past where we're having to just use spreadsheets and we're having to cross-reference email addresses to see which leads closed, and it's quite messy, but it gives us the data we need. So we use all types of things here, and I don't want to overwhelm you at all here, okay? What I'm going to do in a second is just go through 4 kind of solutions that you can implement, with solution 1 and 2 being, I would say, a necessity, and then solution 3 and 4 is more of a kind of nice to have. It's going to help you enhance the data that you're collecting already. Okay, so I don't want to overwhelm you. What we're not going to be doing today is going through each one of these in tons of detail, but this will make sense as I go through these slides. So again, as I said, as a consultancy and agency, we use tools that, for instance, we've got a spreadsheet that shows us where our clients' performance max spend is going in their Google ad campaigns. So it shows if it's going on shopping, search, etc. Really useful for us to see that, not necessarily the client, but still really useful for tracking and making improvements. We've got tools that track SEO rankings and things like that, or SEO traffic. And again, these are all things that we display to our clients, but really they're really useful for us as well to make improvements to campaigns. Okay, but what these things don't do is show us, the revenue, the ROI, how many leads have closed and stuff. So that's what we're going to kind of jump into today. Cool, so I'm going to jump straight into solution 1. We've covered this a little bit already, but it's just your general kind of website and analytics tracking. So There's so many different platforms out there. The main one I'm going to focus on today is your Google Analytics 4. You've then got all your different ad platforms, so TikTok, Meta, Google, you name it. You've obviously got Shopify and things like that as well, but the main one I'm going to focus on and that I really suggest you get set up is Google Analytics 4 alongside all of your different ad platforms, okay? And of course, if you're using Shopify or WordPress, you're going to have some built-in analytics there anyway. But yeah, really, really important to get Google Analytics 4 set up. It does have a few flaws. I'm going to be honest about that in today's video as well, but it's a free platform and it just gives you a holistic view on like your website performance and just like your overall kind of marketing channels. So I'll show you in a bit more detail right now. So this is an e-commerce client. And again, you know, we are able to see the channels that are driving traffic to the website. So if we look under session source and medium, we're able to see, you know, here's Google Ads, here's SEO, here's people coming directly to the website. We've got Facebook and Meta, we've got Bing, so different search engines even, different referrals, you know, other websites that they're advertising on. We're able to track all of this and we can see, you know, the number of users, the engagement rate. It can give us really good insights into if the traffic quality is not so good and, you know, maybe we should redirect budget. But most importantly, you know, we can track where the revenue is coming from, where leads are coming from, and again, get even more granular with that data by looking at, for instance, how many people are adding to the cart and not checking out, or, you know, let's look at the add to cart, begin checkout, and purchase drop off. And like we've been able to come away with some fantastic insights for clients over the years just based on this data. I can't even tell you about the number of clients that we've advised to like fix their checkout because it's got a huge drop off rate. And, you know, just improving something like that for your brands, you know, a small percentage increase over a long period of time is just going to have monumental positive impact on your business. Okay, so it's really, really important. Now, the same applies to all of our lead generation clients. We can track, if you look on the left here, this is a client and they've got lots of different ways to generate leads on their site. So we can clearly track how many people are scheduling Calendly events, how many people are subscribing to the newsletter, requesting sample packs, filling out the contact form, clicking on emails, clicking on phone numbers, just engaging with the website. This data is really useful, okay? And then again, to break that down even further, we've got a client or, you know, various clients that maybe have a quote tool on their website, okay? So they're trying to generate quotes. We can actually see where people are dropping off in that process. So again, we can try and make improvements to the quote form and just do things that are going to benefit whatever we're doing on the front end in terms of marketing. Okay, so just having that data there is just super, super useful. And you don't always have to find these crazy metrics and like data breakthroughs. It can sometimes be really simple. So we had a client where in analytics, we looked at their top pages. We noticed the contact us page was one of the most visited pages, but it had quite a low conversion rate. So, you know, just based on seeing that data, we were like, right, let's go and look into this into more detail. So we installed Hotjar on the website, and basically in a nutshell, they had way too many call to actions and means of contact on the contact us page. They had 3 different forms. They had a button to their vacancy page. They had emails and phone numbers scattered throughout the page that weren't being tracked. And it was just a bit of a mess. So just by simplifying the page, the conversion rate went up. And we would have never really known to have done that without seeing the data. So, you know, you don't have to like spend 3 weeks browsing through data to find useful insights. Sometimes it can be quite quick. So I'm just in the Google Analytics 4 account now. I'm not going to spend ages doing like a big tutorial on this, but a really useful report to look at is under acquisition and traffic acquisition. And then what you want to do, because a lot of people will just look at this report, which I don't think is very good because Google buckets data into like cross-network and stuff, and it doesn't really make much sense. So I personally find the best thing to do is look at session source medium. And then this look very clearly breaks down your Google Ads, SEO, etc. And you can see loads of great metrics here and obviously the conversions and sales. So that's just a really quick report that most people don't even know how to access. So I really recommend checking that out if you do have this set up. Okay, so to round off on solution 1, make sure you've got Google Analytics 4 installed and it's set up correctly. You've got all your different conversions and events on there that you want to track. And of course, if you're running ads from Google, Meta, TikTok, make sure you have those conversions set up in there as well, because those platforms are going to give you unique metrics that Google Analytics 4 probably won't give you, okay? Similar to how earlier when I showed you some of those like SEO and ad tools, they're going to give you just unique metrics that you can leverage as a marketing department or as a business owner or as an agency, consultant, whatever. Again, this is meta ads. We want to be able to track sales. And I do just want to run through a couple of problems with kind of your, what I'll call website analytics, Google Analytics, that type of thing, okay? The first thing being, which I've said a lot today already, they're just often not set up correctly. So, you know, they're tracking website traffic, but no events or conversions, or yeah, it's just set up poorly. Now, if this is a really important note, and this is where Google Analytics 4 can maybe not be the best platform, and I'm not saying don't get it installed, but you'll need to kind of look into these other solutions that I'm going to run through in today's video as well to really make the most of your data collection. So if it's a lead generation company, or I'd say any company that's got long buying cycles, the data's probably not going to give you the best insights. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick example so you can understand what I mean by this. Now, I've seen this a lot in the kind of B2B lead generation space, where companies will invest really heavily into podcasts, content production, LinkedIn kind of messaging or content. And when they log into analytics, they can't really see any conversions happening. But that's because what that channel's really doing is, you know, raising brand awareness. Maybe it's causing more people to Google the brand, and they're going through Google to then convert, or they're going directly to the website to convert. So you do need to be a little bit careful with things like that, because it might on the face of it look like a channel's not working, but it could be that it is, but it's just the way your kind of customers interact with your business and your offer. It's just a little bit different from like a very simple e-com brand, or a, you know, quite a not fast paced, but, you know, a short lead time kind of lead generation service business of some sort. Okay, so if you've got really long buying cycles, or if you know that your customer journey is a bit more complex, you do just need to bear that in mind, because the data's, like I said, it might look like channels aren't performing when they are. So do just bear that in mind. But the other solutions that I'm going to take you through today are going to help you like solve any of those issues anyway. New cookie and GDPR policies always cause issues. So there's been a really big update with Google in 2024 that I'm going to run through in a second, because that has just caused so many issues with various ad accounts and analytics accounts that we've seen. And another problem, again, is just like data overwhelm. People just not really sure how to make sense of the data or how to get insights from it. So really, this is where you want a consultancy or agency to kind of work with you, or, you know, hopefully you've got some people in your team that can do it. But it can be quite hard to pull insights from data, because there is just so much of it sometimes. Okay, so that's just another kind of problem with that. It can be quite easy to log into Google Analytics 4 and get quite overwhelmed with everything. On the flip side, this is a common issue that I've seen. You know, agencies and freelancers and consultants, they'll put together these 5-page data reports and send them to clients, but there's no actual insights on there. It's just data. Okay, and that's just like, that's not useful. Like, you need to be taking insights from the data that you're collecting, basically. Cool. So again, just the reason I put this mark here is like, despite the flaws and despite having a few problems, as a lot of these solutions do, I definitely recommend getting Google Analytics 4 set up on your site, regardless of what business model you're in. If you're generating leads or online sales, get it set up, because it will give you some useful insights, and it's absolutely free. And of course, make sure all your ad platform data is set up as well. So I'm just going to really quickly cover this Google update. I've done quite a few posts about this on LinkedIn, so I'm not going to spend too long on it, but basically Google rolled out a new update which impacts mainly UK and companies in the EU, and in a nutshell, they're phasing out third-party cookies. There's new mandatory cookie policies in place, and that's to do with like the cookie banner that you have on your website. And to just explain this in simple terms, it just really disrupts the quality but also the quantity of data that you can collect if you don't have the following few solutions installed. So this is something that we've been working on quite a lot actually this year, rolling this out for clients. And basically with these solutions in place, it won't disrupt your data collection and tracking issues basically. And there's other benefits like having server-side tracking. You can increase your website speed and stuff as well. But I'm not going to spend ages on this because it's a completely different topic, but do just be aware of this, because it's been a huge thing that's been rolled out in 2024, and yeah, it's causing a lot of issues for a lot of companies. Okay, so solution 2 is your CRM data. So HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, you might be using a spreadsheet. There's tons of different platforms out there, and if you're definitely in the lead generation space. So if you're collecting leads of any sort, you should definitely be using a CRM, in my opinion. And even if you're an ecom brand, I think you should be using some sort of CRM. It's really good for tracking the lifetime value of clients and customers. I know things like Shopify and some platforms do allow you to do this, but I just think it's really important. It's just going to give you more data. So yeah, really, really important. I still see a lot of companies that are just managing all their leads inside of like an email inbox, and it's just impossible to track. There's no data. It's just, I think you're really just, neglecting your company in a way by doing that, because you're not collecting data that you could otherwise be collecting. So again, I'm not going to spend ages on CRMs today, but I think they're really important to have set up, and you should clearly be able to see, where your leads are coming from. So I had to blur this out for GDPR reasons, but for this client, we're able to see, where clients are coming from in the B2B space, what Google ad campaign drove them to convert as well. So really, really useful. And then obviously within your CRM, you've got your different like pipeline charts and graphs, and you can see where the drop off is, and you can maybe see where you're having sales process issues and things like that. So really, really useful data. You can also look at, your cost to acquire new customers and stuff. It's just going to give you loads more data. And with the solution number one, that was talking more about like how your website and campaigns are performing. This is more like your actual customers, where are they coming from, and tracking that. I'd say the next stage of the journey from, when they've converted on the website. So this is really, really important. I think these two solutions together, should be a necessity, and you should definitely have them installed. Now, a few problems with CRMs. They're, again, not often set up properly or even managed. So basically, the company's just not managing it properly. The lead source is not being filled in maybe by the sales team if it's not doing that automatically. And, it's just not being maintained. A big problem we've seen in the past is it will be some custom CRM system, which is quite hard to integrate with. So that can cause issues when it comes to tracking. For instance, that screenshot I just showed you where it shows what Google ad campaign they're coming from. Some systems just don't allow that. So if it's a custom system, there can often be issues. And again, the biggest problem is no CRM at all, and all inquiries are just going to an email inbox, which is just impossible to track or manage. So these are some problems that we see with CRMs. Each CRM obviously has its perks and different benefits and stuff. Some of them, don't do things as well as others, but I'm not going to spend, any time on this video today talking about that. These are just some common issues that we see. So these two solutions on their own or combined will give you really powerful insights. Okay, but I've got two more solutions I'm going to take you through now to really enhance your tracking and data collection. Solution 3 is gathering new customer data as they convert. So this simply means asking customers when they maybe fill out an inquiry form or when they purchase something on your website, asking them questions. And again, one question is absolutely fine, but you could ask something along the lines of, where did you first hear about us? Where did you first see us? You can obviously ask a lot more, but as they're about to purchase or convert, I would keep it short. And you'll see in the next solution how you can go a bit more in depth with this. But just by asking a simple mandatory question on a form or checkout page, which says, where did you first hear about us? You're going to gather some really useful insights. As I mentioned earlier, if you've got a business that's got really long lead cycles, and the analytics data is maybe a bit harder to make sense of, this is going to be really, really useful for you, okay? Because people might be filling in LinkedIn or podcast. So again, it's just going to give you actual data from your customers that you can leverage. And again, I don't see enough companies doing this. I think companies forget that you can go and speak to your customers about this stuff and gather like hands-on data directly from your customers rather than relying on analytics platforms. So I would definitely go and do this. It's really simple. Like if you've got an inquiry form or a checkout page, you just need to add a field on there that says, where did you first hear about us? Super simple. Problems with this: sometimes customers don't always fully understand the questions. You've got to be really specific. You might even want to give them a drop down with options. And you might not gather loads of data. Like if you don't make it a mandatory thing to fill out, you're not going to gather that much data, because I doubt people are going to really fill out the question. So I would make it a mandatory field or like form field on your inquiry or checkout page, and that way you're going to collect data over time. And you imagine after 6 months of doing that, it's going to have some really useful data there. And then, yeah, solution four, which ties in with this quite nicely, is just again speaking directly to your customers. So, doing surveys, literally speaking to them face to face, questionnaires, like sending out an email campaign that's going to try and gather this data. Like you can do. This is why lots of companies do giveaways, and they do, win this discount code by answering these questions. So this again is really, really useful, especially just tying this into those other solutions there. So it's going to give you some really good data for you to leverage as a business. And then the next step is to analyze the data that you've collected and just keep on making improvements. Keep on leveraging that data for your business success, basically. And if you need help with any of this, reach out to me on LinkedIn or drop a comment below and I can point you in the right direction. This isn't something that we offer as a service to everyone. The solution one, the website analytics and stuff is, but if you need help more with your like CRM tracking or surveys, I can point you in the right place. It's not something we actually offer, but happy to, send you in the right direction. Okay. Best place to find me is on LinkedIn. My name's Sam Darcy, or if you Google ClickScope Digital, you can find my agency's site and contact us through there. But yeah, just to recap really quickly on those solutions. So you've got your website analytics, really, really important. Google Analytics, definitely get that set up and firing with all your ad platform data. You've then got your CRM. So you want to be tracking that next stage. So the customers through the journey, the leads typically, but if you're an e-com brand, you can still use a CRM. And then obviously speaking to your customers directly and just gathering data from them is going to really help like mash everything together and just really help with that data that you're collecting for your brand.